Hello everyone, welcome to this video on global holistic modeling. So I want to point out that there's a link to a really good solid intro video on global holistic modeling that I've got a link to. And then after you watch that, I invite you to check out all the really cool videos that we've got on the page that I've got another link to, which is called the Planet page on ICCI, the International Conference on Collective Intelligence, ichibon.org, where you are right now, presumably. Anyway, so after watching those videos, really, I just want to add a few general comments, and then really, I'm just so excited for the collective intelligence to swarm around this topic of global holistic modeling, because here's the thing: even areas where we have imperfect data, right? Like, for example, how much methane is really truly, locked underneath the permafrost and all that, right? Obviously, we've got very imperfect information on that, but what we can do, and what certain scientists have done, is done efforts to estimate how much there might be. At least put a range to it, and better still than a range is a range with a probability density function overlaid on top of it. But in whatever form or forms, however sophisticated or not, we do have ways of estimating anything. You can estimate anything, right? And I'm not saying estimate for the sake of it. I'm estimate as best we possibly can with a view to modeling it. We would benefit tremendously from an open source effort to model as best we can all of these things. By the way, I really would recommend that you watch those other videos before you listen to what I'm saying right now and what I'm about to say, because I'm just really building on top of those assets. So standing on the shoulders of those giant assets, here's what I have to say about that. Take my rant that I just said about we can estimate anything, build it on top of that, place it on top of that. We can and must urgently be estimating these big wildcard variables, such as methane release from permafrost and underneath the Arctic Ocean, particularly as we're just about to lose the last of our summer Arctic ice. We're about to have an ice-free Arctic in maybe as soon as this summer. So this could have catastrophic self-reinforcing feedback loop impacts on the temperature of the oceans up there. And that could have catastrophic runaway abrupt climate change feedback loops happening as a result of that. Utterly catastrophic. So we need to model that ASAP, and part of the urgency of modeling it is so that we can then model, all right, we can model some what-if scenarios. What if we were to do, targeted geoshading right, in a geosynchronous way right above, critical portions of the Arctic Ocean, where the sunlight would otherwise be absorbed in the seawater, which is dark and therefore absorbs the sunlight. It wouldn't really make so much sense to put geoshading above the ice itself, because the ice is doing a great job of reflecting the sunlight into space. So that's what I'm saying. Targeted geoshading, that would be one of the end goals of, in my mind anyway, of global holistic modeling. and just how urgently. Because here's the thing: if we can model the impacts of that geoshading and show how that may actually make a critical difference. I mean, the data will speak to itself. Will speak for itself. I'm just saying, given the magnitude of the threat of methane release in particular, and it's as a contribution to the overall whole. Not that that's the single driver by any means. It's one of dozens, but it's such a gigantic wild card, and it could be so utterly catastrophic. In fact, will likely be utterly catastrophic. That's how far gone we are, and why it is so absolutely urgent that we take this global holistic modeling effort, open source effort, life and death seriously. Absolutely life and death seriously is how we need to treat this. So we need to get on all aspects of it. It is one giant collage. It's a three-dimensional collage, as big and rich and complex as planet Earth itself, including atmosphere, including subterraneous, miles and miles deep. It's all one whole. It's all one whole. So we need to model the whole world in order to do what-if scenarios, in order to do likely scenarios, likely impacts of methane release. And, we need to model that we're really headed off a cliff here, and as a planet. And impacting all species, not the least of which ours, which, way at the top of the food chain, we're, the arguably the most vulnerable to the mass extinction that's happening right now. So, just a general note, whether it applies both to global holistic modeling specifically, as well as building out the entire platform for collective intelligence, all its various components, et cetera, is just have faith that if this is making sense to you, it's making sense to other people. And, go ahead and share it broadly. I invite you to. And have faith that more and more of us are getting it and waking up and joining the effort over time. And so let's each of us focus on that area where we can really make our maximal contribution, even in the midst of so much ongoing destruction that's happening. That is really going to be our salvation. Can we stay focused and stay united and expand our intelligence even as destruction is ongoing, right? It takes discipline, but I think we'll really find a lot of strength in our unity and in our online collaboration, including but not limited to, recorded video conferences and other forms of online collaboration. So keep the faith, and let's keep moving forward, and let's build out each and every aspect of what we need to build to make this a reality. Arigatou gozaimasu.